What is going on, SoFi fans? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Another home run earnings. I know I am a little late to the game to talk on the Q4 earnings, but still, they're getting a lot of good attention from analysts. So we're getting a lot more analyst ratings. Of course, that could be perceived as good, bad, whatever it is. So I'm going to go over all the data points behind the scenes and give you a little bit of a highlight reel from their earnings as well. So I'm going to go over all the stuff you need to know. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And without further ado, let's get right to it. So currently trading at $6.91. So this whole earnings did give it a nice boost up, but still nowhere where I feel it really should be. In my opinion, it could be anywhere between the $8.50 range to the $9 range. That's the basic true intrinsic value of SoFi. So of course, given the market conditions, it still is at a significant discount. But looking at these earnings, very, very impressive. Member growth up 51%. Product growth up 53%, and you do see that little bit of a deviation. So SoFi's marketing aspect is very much working behind the scenes because an all-in-one product, clearly it does go to show that the actual members that they have been getting over the last couple of quarters or whatever it might be, they're starting to branch out and get a lot more products. So this is where you're kind of getting the extra 2% bump up. And beside that though, member growth is very, very positive, largely because of APYs. And as you can see, SoFi's 3.75% far exceeds anything else out there. So very incentivizing on that front, and even more so their marketing as well. And moving on from that, as you can see outside of that, Galileo accounts, so up roughly about 31%. So a lot of good things working behind the scenes. And keep in mind, the tech front based on Q4 has really been down. And of course, there's a couple upcoming earnings this week that's definitely going to be a telltale sign of that. But Galileo is actually kicking ass, and based on the initial projections of it, it's not necessarily going to be really net profitable until, and plus benefiting SoFi until 2024, 2025. But based on this growth, it goes to show it might actually come sooner. So definitely a positive aspect in that regard. Based on this, the net revenue up 60% from the year prior. Massive, massive change. But keep in mind, this time last year, there was no technical chartered bank. So you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt within reason. And when it comes down to this, personal loans, and of course when it comes down to that as well, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. They have really reduced quite a lot on student and home loans. So of course that might be a positive sign, and them trying to mitigate away from a possible recession and things like that. They've gone up roughly about 50% though on personal loans, and I think that's to be expected with member growth kind of going side by side as well. And when it comes down to this, cash and cash equivalents, 1.4 billion. Like, bravo, Anthony Noto, you definitely are hitting it on the head. And when it comes down to the data points behind the scenes, based on options activity, it's been kind of mixed a little bit. So you do see a lot of options being placed, call options being purchased, I should say, but you do see a lot of puts as well. So clearly people are very much anticipating a little bit more of a rug pull. I don't know if that's because a lot more institutions are starting to come out once again saying that this is just a little bit more of a bear trap or a bull trap, I guess I should call it, and that we potentially might be going down significantly. So there's a lot of moving parts at the end of the day, but it's really hard to ignore SoFi's amazing earnings. And this is now, I think, was it the fourth or fifth or possibly even sixth amazing earnings back to back. As far as this goes, so this is all the transactions or big transactions over 100,000 today, and definitely very significant. So you do see a lot of big buying, so 7.47 million. And keep in mind, secondary market is typically what retail investors do trade on. So when you do see these kind of situations on big buying, that is a big institution and someone who intends to hold it long. So whenever I do see that, that is extremely positive. And there is another one as well, 1.84 million. And this is all the dark pool transactions, as you can see. Some people don't like it because it is very much linked to shorts. So I'll give you a quick update on shorts over in a second. But as you can see, it's kind of normal a little bit. Significantly more physical transactions, but not a lot of large ones. So once again, let me know your thoughts on that. And when it comes down to it, I'm sure a lot of you already know, Morgan Stanley, Credit Suisse, and Wedbush did give ratings. So one one $6, $7.50, and $8. So Morgan Stanley previously was $5, so they actually did bump it up. Credit Suisse was previously $8, so they did lower it, and Wedbush was $6, so they really bumped it up as well. So that is a very, very positive sign, and kind of in line with a little bit more what I personally feel between the 8.50 to 9. And as you can see right at the top here, the average of all the analysts is $7.54, which is about 10% of a upside from here. But keep in mind, on a side note, a lot of these analysts are very much direct competition to SoFi, so a lot of these are very, very conservative. So again, take it with a grain of salt. If you are looking for analyst ratings, click on the link in the description below, or also the comments. Play around. It has a lot of good information such as this. But I just want to talk on shorts for a second, because I don't see SoFi necessarily squeezing, but it's good to use them as a benchmark to see if people are very much doubtful or starting to grow more doubtful of SoFi. Short score is currently 68. Utilization is 88.19. As far as what they did today, and obviously this video is made on Tuesday, so they did return 285,000 shares. Cost to borrow is basically pennies. You do see that minimum as far as this goes, so cost to borrow minimum is in fact negative, so meaning there's a broker out there physically paying people to short SoFi. A little bit more of a backwards mentality there, but 10.76% is the short interest. So once again, relatively low. I don't anticipate a squeeze as a result. And when it comes down to the technicals, I am a very, very big fan of the technicals. It kind of gets rid of all the BS that you need to know. So as you can see on the actual chart, I have the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages. Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastic, and momentum. Momentum, as you can tell, a number of retail investors have been getting in basically since January the 6th. So 2023 has been very good for SoFi. And I think that's a little bit more of an understatement as well. But over today, they did go down a little bit. And stochastic right now is considered a little bit more overbought. So there might be a little bit more of a consolidation, but there still is a lot of momentum because of their amazing earnings. So who knows, at this stage in the game, you do oddly enough see a deviation starting to occur. So black line above the red. So oddly, even though it is considered very much overbought, there is bullish sentiment behind that as well. So a little bit more of a weird situation going on there. And on the actual chart, it is above all the actual moving averages. So in theory, though, it's just going to follow the pre-existing kind of resistance levels at this stage in the game. So most likely, as you can see, it might be around kind of this range is where it might next go to. So around the $8 range or 750-ish. So 750 and then possibly 8. And who knows at this stage in the game. But like I said, a lot more institutions are starting to come out saying that this is very much an overreaction and that it's most likely just going to be a rug pull. But who knows at this stage in the game. SoFi is a long-term hold, as I always say, but no matter what though, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence at the end of the day. But when it comes to it though, I know I did skim through a lot of their earnings just to give you very finite highlights of everything, but let me know what stood out to you. What attributes of this was very exciting? And of course, they did say that they're going to be net profitable, I believe it is in 2024. So a little bit faster than on schedule. So definitely let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below as well. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships. Link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that said, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on SoFi.